Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Not by Web, Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay, the Days of Ruin counterpart to Advanced Wars by Web. Small on the bottom left side as the gray Isabella, we got IsabellaOnly. Small on the top right side as the blue Fanatic, we got ari32. When it comes to the CEOs, Isabella is nerfed from the cartridge counterpart, does provide plus 50% golden cost, 2 radius, 36-60. I'm pretty sure that's all the same. As reduced plus 10% offense for all units. And additionally, that's of course because global, plus 2 movement, and only plus 1 indirect max range. The Fanatic is technically a custom character, which is not really a character in the base game, like Davis. I think it's just ultimately he's basically a Sculptor in a getup. Standard boarding cost, 3 radius, 30-60-60, so pretty much all standard there. When it comes to his day-to-day, he has 10% offense, recent defense, a good counterpart to Isabella. And when his all units of CO zone, if they are wounded of any sort, they get plus 10 additional firepower and defense. When it comes to superpower, it does provide, of course, that globally. The effect is to a higher scaling, the lower the health, the even higher the bonus. And also provides deals 1 damage to all of your own units, but you do receive a refund for damage dealt, so you won't be losing any value, not necessarily, and it'll give your guys a little bit of extra power charge. Let's go ahead and get started. This map is a triple base map, 1 airport. The airport is traversable, though there is a bit of detour around. Got a bunch of plasma here, or super plasma. In the very cartridge it says plasma. I know this is, developed by some of these Chinese or Korean Tiny Wars? I don't know exactly. By the way, there's also a decent amount of shores in the middle of the map, as well as some missile platforms. Missile platforms in Days of Ruin only provides 2 defense stars, and its central tile is a shore or beach. So this is 100% traversable. Just not so great with wheeled vehicles. This map also does support 2 column towers. Now we're going to see some bikes being deployed in the field. Bike up north, 2 bikes down south. I don't know why, for some reason the first time a unit moves occasionally, it provides no sound effect. No idea why. Of course, this initial capturing game, nothing much to say. We've got 8,000 versus 9,000. Possible tank this turn, but it's triple base, so probably not. Remember as well, in Days of Ruin, infantry costs actually more at 1,500. And the Fanatic has loaded himself up into a bike. Can't say how effective he will be in a bike. While just trying to use get some early power charge and probably engage infantry units. This map is quite large and relatively open, so maybe at a time before tanks start coming online and shooting your opponent in the face repeatedly. This may be a turn for a tank. Nope. Oh, yes, it is a turn for a tank. Very nice. Because my offhand math is tank 7,000, A2 infantry units is 3,000, so 10,000 is probably the minimum income to start seeing tanks on this map, or any 3-base scenario. Now we've got a tank online. Isabella may load herself up into a tank. Tank, infantry. So we've got double tank now on the field. My Twitch stream crashed? It looked like it crashed. Let me refresh my stream, live stream my other screen to keep an eye on it. There it goes. Looked like I was starting to crash a little bit there. We've got now a couple more tanks over here. And of course, Isabella has loaded herself up to a tank. A lot of infantry units for her to target. There's more infantry down here. There's actually a decent amount of bikes over here, but less infantry units. In other words, less targets. So maybe better deploy her CO unit in this region. Oh, shut it, Razor Synapse. Don't care about updates. I'm busy streaming. Tank. So now we're going to see a good amount of tanks in the field. Both players at 19,000 income. 2 tanks, of course, will be 14,000 expenditure. So they got the capturing game, but a lot of these units are a little exposed. That's probably a bad idea to push forward like that. The tank can't cover the spike full or really at all. If the tank were to strike from right there, yep, it would be out of range. So relatively bad movements there. I can understand trying to capture this one. Probably should send this bike and support this bike here. But this was a relatively bad placement there. Got multiple tanks up here, so striking this tank will be retaliated upon with this tank. Though this the command tank is out of range, it got also an artillery piece here. This map is maybe a little bit too wide open for artillery, though it can always be covered by a pile of bodies. Multiple tanks not straightforward. It is on top of 0 terrain stars here, so maybe not a great spot there. Unless she wants to try to lure it in. Does get a nice little early kill there. And doesn't engage right there. This infantry unit has 4 capture progress remaining, so it's probably going to interrupt another turn further. Yep. This tank will have to be on top of this tank there, so either this tank does get a follow-up shot on the flank and this one falls forward, or this tank just fully falls back. We've got multiple tanks here, so maybe a bad idea to even push for this tank to hit this tank here, because we've got the reinforcing tank. You also now have a rig to go on the field. Tank, mech, so that's what the rig is meant for, and medium tank up north. Pulls back the wooden tank there. I think it would have been a good idea to try to get some engagement there, then have the command tank strike, then follow up with the regular tank. But most of the command tank was always needed to take it out there. I always forget the firepower of the CO unit itself. Because right now it's providing itself plus 40% firepower with the comm tower, and 35% defense, so -5 to counter out the other comm tower, so plus 40, plus 30. And he is capturing there, or nope, decides to actually engage there. Nice little merge there to get a bit more longevity there. Strikes this tank there. Both these things hyper wounded. And this tank can't necessarily push forward since it's another full health tank in the back line. This is a bit of a strong side and weak side mechanic. Got the 2 air bases or factories versus 1 base on each side. There's of course always the airport, which is more suggesting leftwards, but honestly can go either way. Isabella does have a good tank battle group over here. Oops, sorry, I hit my microphone. Falls back the wounded tank there. Infantry bikes managed to pick off that wounded tank. Very nice fall to shot there. But this will follow up, and not to mention, donating a decent amount of energy charge for the Fanatic. He's at 36 energy. Isabella has a significant amount of energy. She can pop her superpower next turn for plus 2 range. This is maybe exactly what she needs. The command of this medium tank is out of range of everything. The Calder or the Fanatic maybe will pop his superpower this turn, or his power. 43 energy, so needs 17 more damage. I see 11 here and another 10 there, so I see up to 21 possible energy. Actually, including this one here, 24. Decides not to eye his power this turn. He does get some good first strikes here, whittling down the possible threat of Isabella's power. He has 7 health, 6 health, and a full health tank. These 2 tanks may be too far away. Plus 2 movement is quite nice, but appears to still be out of range. And the Fanatic did not eye to get a his power charge up to certain. That 12 energy for me. Pops it immediately. Gets a nice strike there with the artillery. Plus 1 range. 6 health hits 6 health. Full health hits 7. 7 health hit 4. Infantry finished off the 1 health. Great first strike down there. She does also have plus 20% firepower global, which is very important. Battlecopter pushes way forward. And the Fanatic has his own battlecraft down here, and we've got double rig with double mech. So the Fanatics really could be eyeing for mech play, I guess. Can't say how effective that is. Infantry units or bikes tries to take a shot at the tank, leaving at 9% health. Artillery, medium tank, infantry. Does have to fire a decent amount of power charges turn, or firepower bonuses. Does get the full 60 energy. But I don't know, this command tank seems pretty vulnerable there. But remember as well, Force and Days Ruin is 3 defense stars for them too. And overall, the Spike has 73% defense at 6 health, which is quite high, honestly. We've got multiple medium tanks over here, and Isabella's tank force is quite wounded. And the artillery piece is out of range, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this tank's out of range of the medium tank. Artillery takes a strike on the infantry unit there. Let's see, I don't know if she can do much versus medium tanks. There's also some reinforcing mechs here. Right now, the Fanatic has 102,000 field. Isabella has 86. Merge there. But I don't think that was a good idea to merge. She's still in range of this medium tank. So there's a bad spot to merge, in my opinion. It is on top of 3 defense stars, of course. Currently right now has plus 62% defense and does not pick off the Fanatic's command bike. It's probably a good idea for the Fanatic to pull back the command bike and pop a superpower. Perhaps I engagements before he does any damage? No, I captures before he does any damage himself. Other than that, he gets a lot of firepower bonuses for just having wounded units, so I don't see why to hold back on the superpower before attacking. There may be some situations I'm not aware of, but let's see what happens. Nope, power this turn. Does get, of course, plus 2% defense here. Isabella taking a bit of damage there. 9, 7s, and 9. The medium tank is range of the artillery, so that's a good spot for the artillery to fire upon. Isabella right now has 92. The Fanatic ends the turn of 122. Both 25,000 income versus 22. And superpower is, of course, available for the Fanatic. Isabella has 3 energy to her name. There's some good damage there, of course. Finish off that medium tank. Got another medium tank here. And now mechs are into the command tank. The command tank's going to go down next turn. Tank, anti-air, bike. And turn of 111. Fanatic starts with 109, so the Fanatic's in a pretty good position. And I just realized he actually went for a bomber last turn. He could wound the bomber and get a bit of a refund. 2,000 funds of refunds. No power nor superpower. Same thing. I keep on trying to say power or superpower, but for most COs, that's the same thing. Mechs are advancing. The bomber is advancing as well. And a couple more tanks. And bike battlecopter. Pulls back the artillery there. Gets a good strike. Medium tank strikes medium tank. But remember, plus 20% defense in that CO zone, which is very nice. Tank, tank, tank. Remember, no tanks. Good shot there. And looks like not popping the superpower just yet. Medium tank goes down. ATR strikes battlecopter, gets a nice pick there. A lot of good hits there. Even the mech's trying to capture some properties. And here comes a bomber. Isabella has no real counter to it. Has 2 anti-airs. Superpower will be useful to help range them, but the problem is she doesn't even have a command unit in the field. We'll go for a command tank right here that made the best spot. Isabella's turn. CO's that one there. I think that's a mistake. ATR has to hide to pursue the bomber. Could strike the battlecopter. Striking this battlecopter, which means this ATR could be knocked out by, or receive some damage from some nearby units. Medium tank infantry. And base skip. Multiple parts being captured by the Fanatic. Maybe a good idea to let the bomber secure the kill, even if it took a bit of damage to the bike, because veterancy on bombers are always quite nice. Veterancy is always quite nice. Choose which unit gets vetted, and I think a vet 1 bomber would be a little bit more beneficial. Probably recuperate the value by bombing 1 target with that boosted damage. Tank, medium tank. A lot of reorging there. Gets a nice little kill there. Decent damage. Just have to deal with the Fanatic's command or CO zone. I think as well, this tank could get +1 to firepower for if he pops this, the Fanatic pops his superpower. Is he going to pop his superpower this turn? Nope. Bombs away. And that +5, what was it, 5% additional firepower could have been quite nice to finish off the tank, which has 2 health. So the lack of veterancy did make a difference there. Isabella's command tank does strike there. They got a pretty good wave of mechs. Mechs are counter everything, but they get countered by everything. So if you actually manage to get in range, they are very good, very cost effective. Mech, and medium tank. And then there 7,000 in the bank as well. ATR is on 5 health, but probably still have to put what rounds it is into that bomber. I'll need to spawn another ATR over here. ATR infantry tank. I think the 5 health ATR should have shrunk that bomber. It would be cost effective. But now they got 4 health bomber. Dance around, gets another free kill there. There's a decent amount of wounded units now on the front line as well. I really do think the Fanatic could have been eyeing the superpower a little bit more earlier. Bomber, bike, tank. And overall, the Fanatics are slowly creeping its way forward. If this infantry unit goes down, the 1 health mech maybe is charged by superpower, supercharged. You'll get a great shot there on the artillery, or maybe just both of them. Oh, don't worry about that up there. I do believe this is a good time for the superpower. Bomber's running low on ammo and fuel. Oh, it's nice to see. He does have 2 rigs, so he has plenty of resupply. And the ATR is in range of the bomber. Maybe that's not a great bombing target. Isabella is at 56 energy, so she may be able to pop. She can possibly pop her superpower this turn. In order for this artillery to range the medium tank, she has to get the power going. This medium tank can only range this medium tank, so probably a good idea to send the medium tank in the medium tank and then pop the superpower. Or that works as well. No superpower this turn. That was a late superpower. Could have done so much more. At least the Star Chiller can range that tank there. Could have ranged it rather than use the regular tank. Tank, and base skip. Could emerge there, getting some damage on the front line, and his mechs are actually starting to run low on ammo. Does not take out that infantry unit there. This bomber is now completely out of ammo. Tank, with 8,000 in the bank. This thing does stay alive thanks to the Fanatic's defense aura. Finish off that medium tank there. Anti-air does finish off the bomber. Infantry takes up battlecopter. Infantry lost versus battlecopter, leaving at 1% HP. Temporary report deployed on the front line. Bomber, anti-air, tank, bike. Answer for 169,000 versus 77. So Isabella is pretty far behind. He's good strikes in these medium tanks. So the battlecopter strikes there. Bomber takes out Isabella's command tank. Of course, this anti-air could go down, leaving the bomber free reign. Then we're going to have another anti-air back here. Merge the medium tanks. Tank, bomber, bike. And Isabella has resigned. This is Android saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.